there, this is Datila with Rangers of Wrestling, bringing you the It's Wrestling Time post show. And for tonight, I will be reviewing Monday Night Raw. Alright, so tonight's Monday Night Raw actually started with a Bloodline Backstage segment. You see the Bloodline arriving, and remember, they are scheduled to face Matt Riddle and Elias in a tag match for those Undisputed tag titles. So as they're coming out of their car, you see Matt Riddle pass by on his scooter. And then Elias attempts to attack them, but he gets taken out by Solo Sikoa. He gets thrown into like a little barricade type of thing. Then this leads into the Bloodline promo, which they're basically talking about how the championship match has officially been canceled. And the Riddle won't be humiliated, and Elias can take his ass home and work on any song he wants. They start talking about how every single tag team are the twos, and they are the ones. Then Matt Riddle comes out and he says that it wasn't cool that they took Elias out, and he says it wasn't very Usi of the Bloodline to run from a fight. Sami Zayn, being Sami Zayn, says that he is a certified Usologist, and that gives him the right to say what is Usi and what is not. He said Solo, showing once again why he is enforcer, is Usi. Riddle goes on to say he found a tag team partner tonight and that there will be a tag match. He says that this guy and him aren't bros, but they both hate the Bloodline. And it is revealed to be Kevin Owens. So it is interesting that it was Kevin Owens because I think it adds to the story. You know, as you guys remember, Kevin Owens said he's done with Sami Zayn. He wants nothing to do with Sami Zayn. But if the plan is still to get Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn versus the Usos at WrestleMania, we still have to keep including Kevin Owens, and this was a way to do it. Now, I didn't think Matt Riddle and Kevin Owens were going to win this, but it was actually a really good idea that they used Kevin Owens instead of Elias. So this leads into the Undisputed WWE Tag Team title match. It's Matt Riddle and Kevin Owens versus the Usos. And at first, like, Kevin Owens is taking it to Jey Uso. He does a senton, and then he sends him into the barricade. He does a moonsault to Jimmy. And of course, the tide changes after Jey hits Riddle in the back with a kick. There's a backbreaker to Riddle by Jey Uso. There's this one spot where Jey takes off his shirt. He throws it at KO, and KO just like throws it into the crowd, it seems. There's also another spot where Kevin Owens gets in Solo's face, and then Riddle takes out Solo. But interesting thing, if you're paying attention, Sami Zayn actually saves Jey from this attack. Like, he saves Jey, and then it only allows Riddle to take out Solo Sikoa. Then Riddle gets in Sami's face, and the Usos end up winning after they hit a 1D to Matt Riddle. So at the end of the match, there is a post-match assault. Sami and the Usos attack Matt Riddle. Kevin Owens comes in swinging with the steel chair. He chases the Usos and Sami Zayn to the top of the ramp. This leaves poor Matt Riddle alone in the ring with Solo Sikoa, who pays homage to his uncle Umaga, who passed away December 4, 2009. So yesterday was the anniversary of his passing, and he pays homage by doing a Samoan spike and the hip attack to Matt Riddle. He actually does the hip attack twice, I believe. Once without the chair and once with the chair. And so I thought that was a really nice homage to Umaga. And that is the whole entire opening segment. Overall, it was a pretty decent opening segment. I really like the fact that they're still continuing the whole Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Usos Bloodline storyline. But I just felt like Matt Riddle and Kevin Owens, it was done what it was supposed to do. Further that storyline. But in my opinion, if this would have just been Matt Riddle and Elias, it would have not. I don't know why they even got a tag match in the first place. But overall, I did like these opening segments. I thought they were good. And I really like that homage to Umaga by Solo Sikoa. Okay, so then we get a Rhea Ripley promo. And she's talking about how Bayley and Asuka are both credible contenders. And they've both been women's champions and tag team champions. But they're not her. And she says that when Rhea is done with Bianca, the whole women's locker room is going to be calling her mommy. So they teased Bianca and Rhea. There was this one spot like a couple weeks ago where Bianca was walking backstage as Judgment Day was passing by, and they had a stare down. So I think that's probably, if that's not a WrestleMania match, that's probably a Royal Rumble match. But Bianca versus Rhea is probably gonna happen sometime soon. We get JBL's Poker Invitational. And with this, you have JBL saying that it was by invite only. And he says poker is a gentleman and gentlewoman sport. And then Johnny Gargano and Dexter Lumis show up. And JBL makes a reference to Crystal Lake. If you're not familiar with Crystal Lake, that is the camp where Jason died in Friday the 13th. And, he drowned, I should say. And he says that Dexter should go stare at someone uncomfortably. And then, you know that big bag of money that he got from the Miz? He puts that on the table, and then JBL walks him to the poker game, which I thought was kind of funny. It's interesting that this Poker Invitational set up so many matches tonight. It's set up like 2 matches, I think. But the majority, a lot of segments took place at JBL's Poker Invitational. Which I found the first segment with Dexter and JBL to be okay. I thought it was a little funny, but I can see why some people didn't like it because, you would think jobbers and the people in catering would be here, but you had the club was there, you had Baron Corbin, you had Dominik right there. So it kind of makes you wonder, why was the club there? When they should be doing something else. But even Mia Yim was there, but she is part of the OC, so it makes sense that she was there. We get a Bayley and Becky Lynch promo, and Becky comes to the crowd because she says she's a man of the people, and she says she was at the merchandise stand reminiscing about last week. So Becky Lynch last week took on Damage Control. I still don't know how she successfully managed to outnumber Damage Control when there's 3 of them and only 1 of her. But she's referencing the opening segment of last week's Raw. Bayley is telling Becky to hurry up, and she says that it's been, 3 years since they last faced each other, and that Bayley's held the company on her back during the Thunderdome era. Bayley tells Becky that she doesn't need her to tell her about her past, and the main difference between them is that Becky's there for the spotlight, and it's all about her. Bayley accuses Becky of not caring about everyone, and she does care about everyone and about WWE, and that's exactly what she's been doing since Becky's been back. Bayley accuses Becky of not looking at the bigger picture and just looking at the mirror. Becky fires back and says 2/3 of Damage Control has been successful because Becky can see 2 champions and 1 loser. So Becky Lynch does make a good point. Damage Control is only 2/3 champion. They're supposed to be Damage Control and be in control. But like I said last week, what is Damage Control exactly in control of? They're not in control of anything. They're not. Bayley couldn't get past Bianca. She couldn't. So, and those tag titles are basically flops. I mean, not flops, props. So they're not in control of anything. So Becky then says that she hopes Bayley wins her match tonight so that they can go one-on-one if she's woman enough. And then the one part I really like about this was that there was a stare down between her and Rhea Ripley. And they are teasing that. Oh, that's another match I wouldn't mind seeing. But I think that if Rhea faces Bianca at Royal Rumble, maybe you could do Becky and Rhea at WrestleMania. But I actually really like that tease. I would not mind seeing that match, that's for sure. But so this leads into a triple threat contenders match. It's Bayley versus Asuka versus Rhea Ripley. And the winner of this match will face the winner of the other triple threat contender match, which was the main event. And then the winner of that match, those 2 winners will face each other next week. And the winner of that match will go on to face Bianca for the Raw Women's title. Okay, so Asuka immediately dropkicks Bayley, and then Rhea bounces Bayley on her knee. So everybody was targeting Bayley in this match. At some point, Rhea was dominating both Asuka and Bayley. Asuka and Bayley double team on Rhea, and then she went shoulder first into the ring post. Bayley sent Asuka face first into the barricade. Okay, so my favorite spot in this match was when Asuka put Bayley into the ankle lock, and Bayley just grabbed onto Rhea's hair, and Asuka German suplexed Bayley, which I thought was a really cool spot. And so once Asuka goes to the outside, Bayley tries to get Rhea to team up with her to take out Asuka, and she starts trying to boss Rhea around, and Rhea tells her that she can't boss her around because she's not part of Damage Control. That double codebreaker to Bayley and Rhea by Asuka was pretty cool. But ultimately, Bayley ends up winning this after she hits a Rose Plant to Asuka. And then Rhea Ripley does not take the loss very well because she hits Asuka with the Riptide. So overall, I enjoyed that match. I liked it. I thought it was a really good match. I think all three women had a chance to shine in that match. It wasn't just about Bayley, it wasn't just about Rhea, it wasn't just about Asuka. All of them had equal time and shine in that match. Okay. So Seth freaking Rollins comes out and he cuts a promo. And first of all, we find out that next week is the number 1 contenders match for the US title. It's Bobby Lashley versus Seth freaking Rollins. And I'm wondering, what happened to that fatal 4-way that was teased? At one point, you had Elias, Matt Riddle, Mustafa Ali, and I believe Bobby Lashley, and Seth Rollins, all for the United States title. They teased it, but nothing ever happened. Instead, what ended up happening was you had Elias get paired up with Matt Riddle, and then the feud ended up being between Bobby Lashley and Seth Rollins. So I don't know what happened to that tease. All right, so then Rollins starts saying that he's got plenty of things to say about old Bob, but since he's not there, it's no fun. And the crowd is singing his song. Bobby Lashley interrupts and he asks what Rollins was about to tell him. So Rollins says that Lashley hasn't been the same since he lost to Lesnar at Crown Jewel and wants to know what is Bobby's obsession with Lesnar. And then Lashley accuses Rollins of trying to get under his skin. Rollins then goes on to say that Lashley must be jealous of Lesnar since he had hit the career that Lashley always wanted. Lashley makes it a point to say that this isn't about Lesnar, but about Rollins and that US title that should be around his waist. Rollins makes it a point to say it's going to be easy to beat Bobby Lashley next week. It's going to be easier than the first time. And then after this, Bobby Lashley attacks Seth Rollins, and security come and break him up because they're trying to preserve the match for next week. And interesting tidbit here. So Petey Williams, former Impact wrestler, Petey Williams is actually now a producer in the WWE. And if you were paying attention, you would notice that Petey Williams was actually a part of this segment. He was part of the crowd trying to break up Seth Rollins and Bobby Lashley. And Bobby Lashley ended up spearing Petey Williams. So that was a pretty cool spot. Michael 10159. I laughed when Petey Williams got speared. Right? You know who Petey Williams? I'm surprised you know who Petey Williams is since you don't I'm surprised you know who he is. But I actually thought, like I said, I really enjoyed that spot. I thought it was a really cool spot. Props to Petey Williams. My God. Alright, so Austin Theory gets interviewed backstage. And he starts talking about how Lashley and Rollins are 2 former champions fighting for scraps. And that both men are oblivious and that they're living in the present and that the forever is just beginning. No wonder he got speared. He's an Impact guy. Yeah, he's an Impact guy, former Impact guy. So Mustafa Ali says that Theory is writing checks that he can't cash. And that did not sit well with Theory because he did not like the word cash since, we all know Austin Theory failed to cash in. And then Theory fires back by saying if all Ali does is complain about opportunities, and he tells him why doesn't he just quit? And Theory says he doesn't want the word opportunity to come out of Ali's mouth again. So I actually really like that promo. I am really liking this new side of Austin Theory, but he does have a point about Mustafa Ali. And honestly, Mustafa Ali loves taking those L's. Yeah, he does. I feel like even since Triple H took over, Mustafa Ali hasn't been showcased as properly. I mean, they were at the beginning, but then I don't know what happened. So after this, we get another JBL Poker Invitational segment. And this segment is basically supposed to set up Akira Tozawa and Dominik Mysterio, because Akira Tozawa accuses Dominik of being a thief and says that and Dominik says that this is his show. Mustafa Ali just doesn't want to stay in catering. Oh, that's true. And Akira Tozawa stands up, and then Dominik says that Akira Tozawa is just as short as his deadbeat dad. JBL says that he sure is shorter than the deadbeat dad, and JBL doesn't like Rey Mysterio, and he tells him to take it outside and that there is no fighting because this is a classy establishment. Those JBL Poker Invitational segments were awful and cringe. Yeah, I can see why you say that. And also in this segment, Corbin was going to take Loomis's money, and he says he's going to send him back to the loony bin. Oh, I put bin. And he accused Loomis of cheating, but then Loomis pulled out a giant axe. So, afterwards, we get the U.S. Championship match. It's Austin Theory versus Mustafa Ali. And I thought this was a good match. The one thing I didn't like was that you had Theory dominating the first half of this match. I mean, he pretty much dominated Mustafa Ali in this match. Don't get me wrong, Mustafa Ali got in some offense. He hit him with the Hurricanrana followed by a big boot and a DDT. Cool Spider-Man shirt. Oh, thank you. I've had this for a while now. It's a sweater, but thank you. Or I think it's a sweater. I don't know. Sometimes I use it as a sweater. Sometimes I use it as a shirt. And then this match, before we even get a clear winner, it ends in a DQ because Dolph Ziggler attacks Austin Theory. And then Dolph Ziggler and Mustafa Ali argue. Theory then attacks Ziggler. He sends Mustafa Ali crashing into the ring post. And then he hits A-Town down to Ziggler. So it seems to me like they're probably maybe setting a... Match was very meh, but I'm okay at being a DQ because Seth or Lashley has to face Theory. Definitely, I was just about to say that. So I don't mind this match ending in a DQ because it was obvious that Austin Theory was probably going to win, or that, like Michael 101591 said, Seth or Lashley has to face Theory. And then it also too stops Mustafa Ali from being pinned. But I really hope they don't go... See, they got Lashley and Seth Rollins in one side, and then you got like Mustafa Ali and Ziggler over here. So I feel like maybe we're gonna get some type of like fatal 5-way match. Everybody's gonna be involved for that U.S. title. It seems like it, because I mean, after Theory, unless what they're trying to do is set up Theory's next feud for when he's done with Seth Rollins and Bobby Lashley. Okay. So then we get a Miz segment. He's trying to enter JBL's poker game, and he wonders why JBL didn't give him an invitation since it was by invitation only. And JBL he tries to enter this room, and JBL reminds him that it reminds him of the buy-in, and that Miz tells him that due to some recent financial improprieties, he doesn't have liquid cash, but he says JBL knows he's good for it. JBL tells Miz he hasn't been good in paying off his debts as of late, and everybody else has paid cash. Miz offers his Rolex watch. JBL looks at it and asks Miz if he knows if it's not real. Miz is shocked as he hurries away. JBL goes back to his phone call and then looks at the Miz won't be joining us. I see them building towards Mustafa Ali and Dolph Ziggler, which that wouldn't be a bad match. It definitely wouldn't. I think that would be a really good match as long as we get a clear finish and not a screwy finish. But again, I understand why that match ended in DQ. So going back to this Miz segment, it kind of seems to me they're going to rehash, and I don't know, it's just me, but it seems like they might be rehashing the Broke Baron Corbin storyline, but this time with The Miz. I mean, think about it. He says he's in debt, and he's got financial and properties that he doesn't have the good cash on him. He's got a fake rolex watch. What's next? He's gonna not be able to wear fancy suits. So I really hope they don't rehash that storyline. I mean, I actually really like that storyline, the Broke Baron Corbin. I wish it would have lasted longer. But that storyline worked because Baron Corbin was actually really good at playing that character. I'm not sure if I believe The Miz at playing that character. But what do you guys think? Would you guys want to see a Broke Miz storyline? Or you think we saw it like last year with Baron Corbin, and once was enough already? Why do we need this with Miz? This is going to exactly like I just don't see The Miz being a believable broke guy like Baron Corbin. Baron Corbin pulled it off fantastically, but I don't know how The Miz will do it. So then we get a Bianca BelAir backstage interview, and she says that Bayley was impressive and she could be glad to face any of the women tonight. But no matter what, let me see. That was boring when Corbin was broke. I actually really liked Broke Baron Corbin. I really liked it. She talks about how she's grown closer to Alexa Bliss and sees exactly why she once ran the division as champion. She says that Nikki Cross is an unpredictable wild card who can surprise anybody at any time, and that Becky Lynch has challenged her more than any other rival she has. But at the end of the day, no matter who wins, they have to be ready for the EST because she stays ready, so she doesn't have to get ready. Then we get a 6-man tag match, player. Holla. It's the OC versus Alpha Academy and Baron Corbin. Again, this was set up during the JBL Poker Invitational. So I actually didn't mind this match. I thought it was a pretty decent match. But AJ, I feel like AJ took like a lot. So Gable dropped AJ on the outside, then Otis clotheslined him, and then Gable threw AJ to Baron Corbin. And poor AJ got squashed in the corner by Otis. Anderson with the clothesline to Chad Gable. A spinebuster to Jack Gable by Carl Anderson. A phenomenal forearm to Otis by AJ. And a magic killer to Chad Gable by the Good Brothers. And so the OC was victorious in this. And I feel like the OC needed, well, not that they needed, but I'm kind of glad the OC won this. I would have felt some type of way if the Alpha Academy and Baron Corbin would have won this match. But good for the OC and Alpha Academy. I mean, for the OC for winning this match. But I thought it was a decent match. So, afterwards, you get a quick segment of Alexa Bliss. She's like working out, doing her exercise in front of a TV, and the TV flashes Bray's symbol, and you see Lily like right there too. Like she's like right next to Alexa. So this keeps happening to Alexa Bliss. She keeps getting the Bray Wyatt symbol. So it seems to me like she's gonna either revert back to her sister Abigail persona, or she's gonna turn heel. But it's been very like subtle. We get a quick Candice LeRae backstage segment, and Candice says she's not going to face Io Sky. And I did a whole rant about this last week about how Candice beating Dakota Kai. I mean, I get it was her first match back, but Dakota Kai is one half of the tag team champions. Why is she losing? If Io Sky loses next week, I'm probably going to rant about that too. But Candice goes on to say she feels like a marked woman by Damage Control. And she may be new to Raw, but she's known these women for years. She says that she's a mom now and she has so much to fight for. I hope no Magic Alexa Bliss again. We don't need magic on a pro wrestling show. I think you could make it work in some capacity. Sorry. So then afterwards, Gargano and Dexter Lumis appear and they show off the money they won in the poker game. And so we're getting hints of the way here. The only two people missing are Indy Hartwell and Austin Theory, but I don't think Austin Theory would join the way if they bring it to the main roster. So then we get Akira Tozawa versus Dominik Mysterio, which was set up in the JBL Poker Invitational. And Akira Tozawa, like, he took it to Dominik at first. Like, he did. And he's no longer wearing his whole ninja attire or his ninja getup. So he does a hurricanrana to Dominik. Then at one point, Akira Tozawa goes face first into a turnbuckle. Dominik doing the Three Amigos, paying homage to his uncle Eddie. I don't need to see her shooting fireballs at anyone or having the fest with Lily the Love Doll. Okay, I see what you mean by that. Dominik winning with the frog splash. And then Balor was encouraging, at the end of the match, Finn Balor is encouraging Dominik to attack Akira Tozawa. And then guess who comes out? The Street Profits come out to save Akira Tozawa. Me going to the bathroom was better than that match. Oh my god. You really did not like this match, did you? So Street Profits save Akira Tozawa, which, can only mean one thing, player. Holla. We're probably going to get a 6-man tag match next week. It's probably going to be Judgment Day versus the Street Profits and Akira Tozawa. I actually would not be surprised if that ends up happening. We get a quick Bobby Lashley segment, and basically it's Adam Pearce telling him not to have an accident like he did earlier in the night. Basically, when he speared Petey Williams, he doesn't want a repeat of that. And then he tells him, Bobby Lashley tells Adam Pearce that he should he tells Adam Pearce to make sure no one gets in his way. And so our main event is the second triple threat contenders match. It's Alexa Bliss versus Nikki Cross versus Becky Lynch. And let me see. If it happens, thank you, Dirty, for telling me when to take my bathroom break. Oh, wow. You really did not like that segment, did you? Okay. So Nikki Cross is Nikki Cross, and she flings her jacket around. She gets taken out with the throat punch and a kick. The throat punch being by Becky and the kick being by Alexa Bliss. And I really like the back and forth with Alexa Bliss and Becky Lynch in this match. Nikki Cross bouncing Becky Lynch on the ring apron and then sending her into the steel steps. That swinging neckbreaker to Alexa Bliss by Nikki Cross on the outside was pretty cool. Oh, the spot there isn't one spot that I like in here was that double leg drop to Alexa Bliss's back from the middle rope. And this sends Nikki Cross crashing face down because she had Alexa. So because she had Alexa, so that's why she went face down. And then I also like when Becky did a suplex to Cross, who was holding poor Alexa Bliss, and she took it. That manhandler slam to Cross on the ring apron by Becky was pretty cool. And since there's no DQs in a triple threat match, Dakota Kai and Io Sky pull Becky out of the ring and attack her. Dakota Kai sends Becky crashing into the ring apron, and then they powerbomb her through a table. Alexa Bliss hits a twisted Bliss to Nikki Cross, and she ends up winning. So next week on Raw, it's going to be Bayley versus Alexa Bliss. The winner faces Bianca BelAir. To me, I don't think the winner matters because they're going to end up losing to Bianca. If I had to say who was going to win, I'd say Alexa Bliss because they've been doing these teases with Bray Wyatt. I feel like something's got to give. I was surprised Becky didn't win this, but obviously next week Bayley's winning, and once again, a Bayley versus Bianca title match. Yeah, I was surprised Becky didn't win this since they teased Becky versus Bayley because they want to save that for somewhere down the road. But it's interesting you say that Bayley's winning this. I don't think she is because we just saw Bayley versus Bianca, and I don't want to see that match again. I would think that Alexa Bliss would win this, and then she would turn heel during her match with Bianca if she loses. Because again, something's got to give. You're doing all these teases with Bray Wyatt. Are you turning her heel? Or are you turning her into Sister Abigail? So, or you could do the opposite way too. You can have Alexa Bliss lose and then she turns heel, but I think it would make much more sense for Alexa Bliss to win that match and then go on to lose to Bianca and turn heel that way. At least that's just my opinion. But you can feel free to disagree with me. And that is how Monday Night Raw ends, with Alexa Bliss winning this triple threat contenders match. Overall, I don't know what was going on with Monday Night Raw. 6 out of 10 mid Raw. It definitely was mid. There was a couple things I liked. I liked the Bloodline stuff, of course, because of Sami Zayn. He just makes it work in the story that they're telling. I liked the Undisputed tag match. It was predictable, but I liked it. JBL Poker Invitational, I had some cringe moments. I liked the first triple threat contenders match. I really liked the Rhea teases with Becky. I liked the Bayley and Becky tease. I like that Seth Rollins promo, that Austin Theory. But aside from that, really what dragged this down was those JBL Invitational segments. The OC versus Alpha Academy was pretty okay. So I feel like if you take those segments out, I think you would have a little bit of a much better show. I have to agree with Michael Hill. A 6 out of 10 is definitely what I'm giving this Raw. It was nothing that made me say, oh my god, you know. But I actually like last week's Raw a lot better than this week's. But with that being said, you guys, thank you guys all so much for watching and for your continuous support. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell so you get notified whenever I go live or release a new video. And I'll see you guys live Wednesday after Dynamite. Bye.